In the lines of Mark Twain, synergy, the bonus that is achieved when things work together harmoniously. Let me bring your attention to our UN NPSC collaboration. UNIC, who organized the Holocaust Remembrance Day and invited students and teachers for the NPSC schools to be part of the exhibition. To take us further into this progressive partnership, we have another collaborated venture, the UN NPSC Calendar. May I invite the dynamic curators for the release of this calendar, Ms. Tanya Joshi, Executive Member, NPSC and Principal, the Indian School, Ms. Malika Premal, Executive Member, NPSC and Principal, Tagore International School. Over to you, ma'am.
Thank you very much, Ritu. And a very good morning to all esteemed panelists and the member of NPSC. We had some very invigorating sessions since morning, and all our esteemed panelists have emphasized on the need of introspecting our teaching learning methodologies with removing all the boundaries which we have between the subjects. With the coming of NEP2, the focus has shifted to more competency-based education. It creates an education system that is more student-centric, giving flexibility to students to pursue their passion while at the same time enhancing their skills. And the best way to do it is through the art integration, which even CBSE has introduced. So going with the theme for the session of sustainability and bridging the gap, we, the NPSC, in collaboration with United Nations, have come up with the calendar, which we will be releasing today, with the theme Sustainable Development Goals through Art Integration. I'll request Tanya ma'am to take it forward for the art integration.
Thanks, Malika. The various artistic forms which has received its aesthetic presence in the calendar are Kalamkari, Madhubani, Pattachitra, miniature painting, Kalighat painting, Varli painting, Gaunt, Par, Manjusha painting, Tanjore, Cherial scroll painting, and the Thangas from Sikkim. May I now invite Mr. Darren Farron, Director, United Nations Information Center for India and Bhutan, to release the UN NPSC calendar. So do we have your permission to do that?
Yes, please go ahead.
Okay. I think the calendar is a beautiful expression of the works of various students of different schools. And I take this opportunity, Mr. Darren Farron, to invite you to address the gathering. Thank you so much.
Thank you. And good afternoon, everyone. It's a real pleasure to be able to join you all today, albeit virtually. I'd like to thank the organisers and Dr. Sujya Acharya in particular for inviting me to speak. I'd also like to acknowledge our distinguished participants. And on a personal note, I'd like to say how challenging it is to speak at an event when you have to follow a Nobel laureate. I don't think Kailash Satyarthi is still on the line with us, but I found his speech to be incredibly inspiring today. And I'm still thinking about what he said to us about acknowledging the hummingbird inside each and every one of us. I'm also thinking about what our keynote speaker, Professor Chatterjee, just said, especially what he was saying about the tension between attention and awareness. So, as I said, it's a pleasure to be here, and that's because the National Progressive Schools Conference is a long-standing and committed partner of the United Nations in India. You've collaborated with us for many years to boost understanding and awareness of the Sustainable Development Goals and the wider work and agenda of the UN. And so I'd like to thank you for those continuing efforts. The theme you've chosen today for the gathering, Bridging the Gap for a Sustainable and Inclusive Learning World, is a simple one, but it's an especially salient one as well. It reflects the singular importance that education can have and does have on an individual's life and on their significant life outcomes. After all, the job you have, the health you enjoy, the life you get to lead, these are all very much contingent on the education you receive. This is truer today than it ever was. Globalization has increased the value of education and learning worldwide, and the COVID-19 pandemic has only accelerated that trend. Today's theme is also a reflection that we face stark and persistent inequalities in access to quality education and learning. A poor education is no education at all. So our goal, therefore, must be to ensure that quality education, goal 4 of the SDGs, as you all know, is treated as a fundamental human right that can be realised by all of us. Not as something nice to have or to aspire to one day, but as something that each and every one of us deserves to have right now. Everyone, everywhere. So we must think big, very big, casting our ambitions as broad and as deep as possible. We must reach for systemic change, even when that change can sometimes make the comfortable among us feel uncomfortable. We need change that makes a lasting and enduring difference and ensures that every hurdle or barrier to education is eliminated. After all, we need to ensure that quality education is never left to the outcome of a geographical or demographic lottery. I'd like to thank you once again and say what a pleasure it was to be able to launch the calendar today. I love seeing the product placement and everyone who already has a calendar, and I encourage all of you to use it as I will. I'd like to thank you and wish you fruitful discussions for the rest of the conference.
Thank you, Darren. Thank you so much for joining us. Thank you so much for joining us. Thank you.
Thank you for your words of motivation and sharing your insights on the future of education. May I now request Ms. Meenakshi Sahani, Vice Chairperson, NPSC, and Principal, Modern School, Vasant Vihar, to kindly propose a vote of thanks for the inaugural session. Over to you, ma'am.
Thank you. A very good afternoon to honorable guests, center stage, esteemed members of the panel, senior and team members, NPSC, members of fraternity and all present. It is indeed my privilege to propose the vote of thanks on this special occasion. As we successfully conclude the inaugural session of the 49th annual conference of the NPSC, the simple yet profound words of Elie Wiesel come to my mind, who says, "Every hour is grace." At a time when the world continues to face the conundrum of uncertainty arising out of first the pandemic and the war now, grace it is that has brought us all together to this common forum, a mindful space that is anchored in potential and possibilities. We are blessed indeed. And on behalf of the entire fraternity, I would like to express our deep sense of gratitude to our chief guest, Honorable Shri Kailash Satyarthi, Nobel Peace Laureate, a teacher of teachers who stands for the voice and dreams of every child who is deprived of freedom. Sir, the message we take from your gracious presence is that lofty goals become more beautiful and infectious when clothed in simplicity and humility, as reflected through your thoughts and actions. We salute you yet again for your steadfast service to the cause of education and your impassioned interaction with us today. I am sure you will be a great source of inspiration for those who dare to dream and venture into the globalization of compassion. All we need is courage and to discover the tiny hummingbird within us. Further, we are grateful to Mr. Darren Farrant, Director, United Nations Information Center of India and Bhutan, for his keen participation halfway across the world in our conference and your kind words, and for so graciously releasing the UN NPSC Collaborative Calendar as a mark towards a continuing partnership for quality education. Thank you, Mr. Farrant. I would also like to express our deep sense of appreciation to Shri Manoj Ahujaji, OSD, Secretary to the Government of India, Ministry of Agriculture and Farmers' Welfare, for the inaugural address. His worthy and countless contributions to the education ecosystem in the country as former chairman CBSC. And as a committed member of the Fraternity of Educationists, his ideas, democratic methods, and impactful decisions will be remembered. We are grateful to you, sir, for having acknowledged NPSC and its efforts and the larger role it can play with issues like learning gaps, equity, and reorientation of education towards a more well-rounded outcome. Further, I also wish to express our sincere thanks to our keynote speaker, Professor Devashish Chatterjee. Sir, your boundless wisdom and profound understanding of what the future roadmap of education in the country should be is not only an eye-opener, but also refreshing when it comes to decoding our karmas and the more subtle yet powerful influences in our lives and how important it is to declutter our minds. A heartfelt gratitude, sir. A conference like this takes more than what meets the eye to become successful. The voice of reason has to not only be heard, but also understood and adopted. And it takes earnest involvement of all stakeholders. The organizers, without who the conference could not have been, the participants, without who the conference would have no meaning, the guests and attendees, without who the conference could have no purpose. I thank them all profusely for their meaningful partnership with the NPSC. I also wish to thank the silent workers who remain behind the scenes for most part, the technicians, staffs, and aides, and all those who don't find a spot under the spotlight, but without whom the spotlight won't shine, literally and figuratively. Thank you. Let me also add a word of appreciation for the team that put together a beautiful invocation. And before I take the final bow, may I request you to please put your hands together for the ever-inspiring chairperson NPSC, Ms. Sudha Acharya, for establishing newer benchmarks. And on a lighter note, may I also urge all participants to keep handy a list of general stretches to be used between marathon sessions on diverse viewpoints, untrodden perspectives, and never before takeaways. Your unwavering attention, participation, and engagement will make this year's conference a resounding success. And may the force be with us when we meet again next year in happy and healed times to report growth, accomplishment, and many, many miles of achievement. We stand for love and hold the vision that there is hope. Thank you for being here.
Thank you, ma'am.